Can I have a motion to resume public session, please? Littlewood, Long. Questions or comments? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Thank you. And now we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So up next, we have the GC Pride Awards.
Whoever would like to go first?
Oh.
Sure.
Whoever wants to go first. You're such a gentleman. Ladies first.
Vice President Richards, Superintendent Daly, is this on?
Yeah.
It's on. Oh, like that? Okay. Vice President Richards, Superintendent Daly, and members of the Board of Education, it is my great pleasure to present this GC Pride Award to Mrs. Sandra Ransom. Sandy, you want to come up? So Sandy has been a volunteer with our food pantry since it opened in January. She is our first and only. She is a huge help to this program. Not only does Sandy help me shop, take inventory, stock the shelves, she often donates food from her own house and from her CSA that she belongs to. But her biggest strength, I think, lies in the compassion and care that she shows to everyone who comes through the door. So for that, I just want to thank her for all of her hard work. Thank you.
Good evening, Vice President Richards, Mr. Daly, and members of the board. I'm Janice Phillips, Director of School Nutrition.
I'll try again. I'm Janice Phillips, Director of School Nutrition, and with me is Karen Higgins. She's our cook manager at Neil Armstrong, and our Pride honoree. This is Jing Ulam, and she is receiving our Pride Award tonight. She's a very valued member of the team. She has been at Neil Armstrong for 2 years now. She's very hardworking and dedicated. She often goes above and beyond. The team is so glad to have her. Any task she's up for, we appreciate her positive attitude. She has 2 boys that attend our district. One is at Brasser and one is at the middle school. And we just want to say congratulations to Jing.
All right, Vice President Richards, Superintendent Daly, and members of the Gates-Chili Board of Education. My name's Dr. Zanowski, and I'm the proud principal of Walt Disney Elementary School, and this stellar first grade student, Mariana Lippincott Diaz, and I have a pretty cool story to share with you that you might have heard over the summer. So when Mariana could have been doing anything, playing with her friends or watching TV or hanging out, she decided that she wanted to run a lemonade stand to raise money for the Pirate Toy Fund. Now, this is an organization that Mari is familiar with because she spent some time, and she gave me permission to share this. She spent some time in the hospital over a year ago. And the Pirate Toy Fund donated toys to her during her hospital stay to make it more comfortable and more enjoyable for her. And she wanted to raise money to give back to an organization that made an uncomfortable time in her life a little more comfortable. So for 2 whole days, she stood outside and sold lemonade to the community. The story went viral. You might have seen it on the news. You might have seen it on social media. And this young woman raised over $1,200 from our community, and she presented the check to the Pirate Toy Fund earlier this month. They have since purchased toys, and she got to help pick out some of the toys that she wanted to give, and they have made their way to the Golisano Children's Hospital in Rochester. So join me in congratulating Madi.
Congratulations to all of our GC Pride winners.
We could have all the winners over so they could get a picture.
Again, congratulations to all our GC Pride winners. So this evening for Vice President's comments. Agenda changes, I'm sorry.
Yes, there are agenda changes. We have changes to personnel.
Thank you, Superintendent Daly. And now on to Board Vice President's comments. First, I would like to welcome Ms. Alana with us, who is our student ex officio, to her first meeting. We're so excited to have you here. We also like to take time to just thank all of our administrators and our staff and our teachers, our security, and our students who are doing what it is that they need to do in light of so many different things that are going on socially today. It takes a lot to step up and do the right thing, so we as the board want to show our support for our administrators, our staff, and our students, and please continue to do what's right. We also, as I looked at the, we're getting ready to go into October, and I was just looking at kind of what are some of the celebrations for the month. So there is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as we know, the other half of Hispanic Heritage Month, World Vegetation Day, National Book Month, and it just made me think that no matter what it is that we're looking at and we're celebrating, it all comes back to taking care of you. So please make sure that whatever you do, staff, students, parents, make sure that you are taking care of you. Take time to take care of you, because without you, none of this would be possible, and we thank you. Points of interest. Ms. Geis?
I attended the homecoming game last Friday. Exciting football game, and great turnout from the crowd for our homecoming. It was nice to see so many people again on our fields. Also attended open house last week at the high school. New format this year, at least for me as a new high school parent compared to my older son who graduated. I really appreciated that looser format to be able to have conversations with the key teachers that you need to have conversations with, and less time with the teachers that you didn't need as much time with and could leave it open to other parents. Nice format.
Thank you. Anyone else with any questions? Yes, Ms. Davis?
I just want to comment on Spirit Week last week for homecoming week at the high school. I know my daughter had a great time and really enjoyed it, including the Powder Puff game. I actually went to the Powder Puff game as well, just to watch. It was a lot of fun. And then the homecoming game Friday night was great. Great to have a big win by the football team, as well as seeing the cheerleaders there, and the marching band had a great halftime performance. So good time by all, good event for the community.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Urbanowski?
I attended the middle school and Walt Disney's PTO meetings, and there were more people there than I have seen in the last, 2 years or so. So it was awesome to, get off to a really good start. There seems to be a lot more engagement and a lot of fun stuff that both schools are going to do for the kids this year, so super excited.
Thank you. Anyone else with any points of interest before I close the show? So I actually was honored to attend the middle school modified volleyball game, and our volleyball team for modified is undefeated, so I think they deserve absolutely all the accolades. And they played Greece Athena Spartans, which, I was a little bit upset because they were taking our name. However, the crowd was, gave them much support and much cheer, and again, to be undefeated, I think says a lot. So congratulations to the volleyball modified team. Now on to visitors' comments. Report of meetings. I'm just skipping along tonight. Any report of meetings? Mr. Moscato.
Just a reminder that the New York State School Board Association Convention is in October. Our annual meeting is going to be a Zoom meeting on October 16th. Resolutions are being passed around to some people to take a look at them, and we'll share them with the board and decide how we want to discuss them if we want. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other report of meetings? Now on to visitors' comments. I don't think we have any. And now on to our reports. Finance, facilities, and audit.
Good evening, Superintendent Daly, Vice President Richards, Board of Education. I'm here to talk about the Finance Facility and Audit Committee meeting we had on September 18th. It was a very lengthy agenda, so there's a number of things to report on. First of all, in audit, we gave, Mrs. Sanford, District Treasurer, gave an update on the audit, talked about the time frame being October, November, talked about the independent audit and shared the status of the audit that's currently ongoing for the 22-23 school year. And so that report should be coming out in the next within probably a month and a half. From a finance perspective, talked about some potential legislative priorities, including issues relating to the foundation aid formula and tying the free and reduced lunch percentage to the foundation aid formula. We talked a little bit about the community eligibility program, AKA the free school meals for all, noting that there are some issues for some families who have students that are placed out of district, those students with disabilities. For the families that don't qualify for free or reduced, they do not get free meals through the program, and that's a potential legislative priority as well. We talked about My School Bucks, noting that Mrs. Sanford has done a lot of work to expand opportunities for parents to pay via the online portal, specifically around fundraising opportunities and extracurriculars. We talked about influx in tax certiorari proceedings, or essentially tax certiorari proceedings are proceedings where people are challenging their assessments, and so that has tripled from around $900,000 to $3 million. Which could be a potential financial the district has in the future. We talked about unaudited reserves and talked about what the potential allocation of funds to our reserves would be at year end. We talked about federal funding and how we had to shift the replacement of HVAC units at various buildings to a different funding source because of supply chain issues. We discussed FEMA funding. Again, this is an ongoing issue where we've been working for over 2 years to receive funding. Mrs. Sanford, District Treasurer, has done a great job of working to get those funds, and we still have about $600,000 in outstanding claims. We talked about the budget calendar and reviewed that. That is on the agenda for tonight for the board to adopt. We talked about a change in our Medicare Advantage offerings. And how the district has been communicating with our nearly 700 retiree plans. and talking about those changes and what that would look like. From a facilities perspective, we talked about some changes to our courier service due to the fact that our bulk mail processor is no longer in business, and so now we have to go to the post office more often, so we're changing the schedule of the courier. We talked about the security team staffing and its functionality. We talked about surplus inventory. We have been updating the procedures after doing a trial period in June, and so you'll note that when disposals come through to the Board of Education now, we're doing that process digitally versus on paper, so those forms look a little different. We talked a little bit about the capital project and shared some updates on Phase 1 of the 2022 capital project, noting that Phase 1 is nearly through the approval process. We expect any day now that the New York State Education Department, the facilities planning portion or unit of the New York State Education Department should be approving that any day now, which would mean that hopefully soon we'll be able to bid out that project and award contracts at a Board of Education meeting over the next month or so. And then work would begin as soon as late November or early December on Phase 1. We talked about ADA accessible parking here at the PLC and some potential changes in the striping outside so that we can accomplish that. We talked about capital project presentations, which should begin on October 10th, our next board meeting. And so those will be held at the first board meeting of every month, moving forward as we go through capital construction. We talked about district signage. So pretty soon you're going to see some pretty significant upgrades to district signage here on the main campus. Those changes should come in the next month and a half or so, hopefully before the snow starts to fly. You'll see some better directional signage here on campus. Again, thank you to Mrs. Petrosino for doing a lot of work surrounding that. Solar assessment, we talked about a potential energy performance contract where we would potentially install solar panels on most of our buildings in order to help defer electricity costs. And so after giving this update tonight, we'd look to engage in a RFP process to potentially have contractors come in and provide both designs and estimated savings by going about a project like that. We talked about new fencing at Walt Disney. The playground is now completely fenced in at Walt Disney, just thinking about safety and what's best for both staff and students in those buildings to have fencing around those playgrounds. We talked about the Performing Arts Center and how we've installed some privacy fencing around the garbage cans over there, the dumpsters. That was something that was still outstanding from the last project. And then we talked about play sets at Florence Brasser. So about, well, it would have been last spring, I met with the student council over at Florence Brasser, and they talked about their interest in having more playgrounds installed, stating that they don't have enough, more swings I should say, they don't have enough swings, and so they did an assessment by looking at what the other buildings have and did an assessment of their usage, and they do have fewer swings, and they are highly utilized, and so the district purchased more swings, and we anticipate those will also be installed, hopefully before the snow flies. We talked about storage at the high school and how we're looking at shuffling some things around given capital construction. And that's it. That's the last page. So a lot of updates, a lot of things that we talked about. It was a very productive meeting, and I thank the Finance, Facility, and Audit Committee for all of their input in the process. Are there any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ball. Next, we have the school nutrition report.
So good evening again. Is my talk on this time? I think so. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. So Eva, I just need a hand getting started. Aha, there I am. So just some updates from school nutrition. So our team has not changed since the end of last year. I presented in May, although Karen Higgins, that was up here with me, is retiring December 1st. We have 6 school cafeterias, over 40 school nutrition staff members, and we have over 10 countries and home languages represented in our department. This year, very exciting, free meals for all Gates Child kids eating in our Gates Child cafeterias. Woohoo! This is really exciting. And so some of my presentation is going to be talking about some of the changes that this has meant for us. So it really is a bright spot. Eva and I were at the Summerfest talking with families at Gates, and so many already knew about it. So the word is out, and families are very excited. Especially nice for families that wouldn't have qualified for free and reduced meals, yet we all know how expensive food is these days, and so it really is a wonderful benefit for our families. So a year ago, our average number of meals served per day were 2,900. Currently, 3 weeks into school, we're at 3,600 average meals. So we're feeling the impact fast and furious. 58% is our average meal participation rate for lunch. That is up 4% from where we ended the school year last year. Generally, the numbers during a school year continue to climb as kids get more used to eating, especially that first day. There's a lot of deer in the headlights. So we're pleased that we're already up 4%. So last school year, 56% of our students in the district qualified for free and reduced meals. Currently this year, we're at 51%. It's very important that we try and get that number back up to 56%. And some of this is based on income eligibility forms, which are the old free and reduced meal forms. If a family does not qualify with direct certification, this is how they qualify. So while families are all eating for free, the kids, we need to make sure they're continuing to submit those forms. So this chart I showed in May when I presented, and it shows the difference between when meals were free during COVID, which is the blue line, and then the orange-red line is what we were at last year. Still trending up throughout the year, yet less than the previous year. Currently, 3 weeks into the school year, we are already over 53,000 meals. So I continue to have high hopes that that will also continue to climb. I should also state, going back a slide, that does include our friends at Ridgecrest, Westview, and Westside. We do feed those kids and claim those meals. We also feed kids at Hope Hall, but that is treated more like a catering. We bill them, they do their own claims. So then we have My School Bucks. Families are still encouraged to put money on My School Bucks. This is for them purchasing snacks, etc. The menus, this actually was new a year ago, but we continue to upgrade through Meal Viewer. The menus are available online. Families can also find nutritional information about the food. And save the date. The Fall Family Fest is November 9th. School Nutrition will be there representing, and besides our local Kirby apples, we will be sampling 2 food items for all our families. If those items are well received, we'll be adding them to the winter menu. So while CEP is wonderful, and it is, there are a couple challenges that go with it. The first thing is people understanding what this income eligibility form is all about. They're used to the language free and reduced meals, but all the meals are free. So USDA makes us call it something different. The information is exactly the same, but the heading is different. Another challenge, fairly significant, is that if a Gates Child student is placed out of district, and if where they are placed is not a CEP school, the child would have to pay for meals unless they qualify for free and reduced meals. So majority of our Gates Child students placed out of district are direct certified and qualify. So that already knocks some down. And then you also have families that qualify for free and reduced meals. But there are a few families that are impacted where their child is placed in a school that is not CEP. The other challenge is just this rapid increase in volume. When we placed our bid last year with Palmer's, our main grocery supplier, we didn't realize how quickly our volumes would go up. We weren't qualified for CEP until the summer. So also trying to get the staffing levels appropriate while not overstaffing, being true to my budget, because you know Dr. Ball's my boss, and just making sure we're handling everything in the right way. We want our staff busy, but I don't want them striking out front. So it's busy. It's busy. I was at Brasser this morning. It's great. It's great to see it so busy, but we just want to make sure we're handling everything in the right way. Also, we want to make sure we're offering as many choices as we finished with last year. We spent last year a whole year getting back to normal, choice of fruit, choice of veggies, all sorts of good stuff. Now it's free. We don't want that to go away. So a huge thanks to the school nutrition team. Thanks, Carmen, for hanging around. And, you know, they're really the ones making it work. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have our student ex officio member of the board report. Ms. Griner, do you have anything to report this evening? All righty. Next, we will move to approval of consensus agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consensus agenda, please? Long and Moscato. Comments or questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Approval of consensus items. Can I have a motion to approve consensus items C through K? Motion, please. Kais Davis. Comments or questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Moving on to action items. Approval of board vote on transportation appeal student A. Resolve that the Board of Education, having heard an appeal from student A, determination made by the Transportation Department designated as appeal number 1, and following due deliberation, hereby uphold the determination of the Transportation Department. Oh, got it. Can I have a motion to approve the determination by the board? Ms. Littlewood, Ms. Davis, comments or questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Next, we have approval of board vote on superintendent's hearing appeal. Resolved that the Board of Education, having heard an appeal from student A, discipline determination made by the superintendent of schools, designated as appeal number 1, and following due deliberation, hereby uphold the determination of the superintendent of schools. Can I have a motion to uphold the determination by the board? Mr. Long, Ms. Davis, comments or questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Approval of emergency capital project resolution. Approval of the emergency capital project resolution to address the repairs to the Gates Child High School. Can I have a motion, please? Kais Littlewood. Comments or questions? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Next, approval of agreement between Gates Child Central School District and the Kessler Center for the Kessler 23-24 school year. Motion to approve an agreement between Gates Child Central School District and the Kessler Center effective July 10, 2023 until June 21st, 2024. Motion, please. Ms. Jennings and Ms. Littlewood. Comments or questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Now we have the wonderful resounding superintendent's comments.
I want to start out by thanking everyone for a wonderful homecoming week in Gates Chili. It was a great time to celebrate being a Spartan with lots of opportunities to show school spirit and get involved in fun activities. A very big thank you to all our administration, faculty, and staff who helped in coordinating and facilitating these opportunities for our students and our entire school community. While the majority of our students and families exhibit exemplary behavior and sportsmanship, there were a couple of unfortunate incidents that disrupted our homecoming football game last Friday night. In times like these, we are reminded of the importance of safety and security at our school events. Our goal is to provide a safe and enjoyable environment for all students and their families during school events. So I want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our dedicated security workers, our Yellow Coats event staff, and our partners with the Gates Police Department, who work tirelessly to maintain order and ensure the safety of all attendees. As we move forward, it is crucial that we emphasize the safety and well-being of all our students and families. To that end, I would like to remind everyone that elementary and middle school students must be accompanied by a parent or guardian when attending athletic events. This policy is in place to create a secure environment for our younger students and to ensure their safety in potentially crowded settings. Let us remember that we are a strong, supportive community, and together we can ensure that our school events remain a source of pride and unity. Just days before Friday's 47-13 victory over the Wilson Wildcats, Spartan running back and linebacker Joe Garcia was honored by the Buffalo Bills for his athletic and academic excellence. We told you about this at our previous meeting, but on September 17th, Joe received the 2023 NFL Hispanic Heritage Leadership Award during a pregame ceremony at Highmark Stadium. As part of this recognition, he received 4 tickets and a custom game day ball. Look out for more from Joe in the fall issue of the district newsletter later this fall. We also want to congratulations also go out to middle school ESOL teacher Angela Zesis, who was selected for the Amazing Teacher Award. This honor, published by the Democrat and Chronicle, recognizes a local teacher each month. Angela and others will have the chance to win a monthly national prize of $5,000 American dollars. We are also proud to share that 2 students and 2 staff members will be representing Gates Chili at the state level tomorrow. Members of the Multicultural International Club, along with their advisors, will be participating in a panel discussion as part of a new NICED series titled Elevating Student Voice as Leaders to Advance Equity and Inclusion. During the panel, they'll talk about how they worked with their peers in Holly and School of the Arts to coordinate and lead the Rock to Change Student Summit on Race last March here in Gates Chili. Last week, we also had our first meeting with the Children's Institute to begin our road to a more equitable and responsive code of conduct. It was a very productive day with many staff, students, and community partners in attendance. I want to thank both Mrs. Davis and Dr. Richards for being part of it. I am very excited to see the growth and evolution of work that comes from this committee this year. We also will be having SUNY Geneseo education students visiting our classrooms on Friday as part of their program. It is one more way we are trying to connect the educators tomorrow with our great district that hopefully someday they come back and work with. And a quick reminder that elementary open houses are tomorrow and Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. We look forward to welcoming our families into our schools. And finally, a big welcome to Alana, our student ex officio member of the Board of Education. We look forward to working with you this year, and thank you for representing all our Gates Chili students, and we look forward to learning from you about what's going on with our Spartans each month. So thanks for being here, and we look forward to you being with us the remainder of the school year. Thank you, and that is my report. Vice President Richards.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Daly. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Ms. Jennings and Mr. Long. I'm assuming there are no comments or questions. All in favor? Vote is unanimous. We are adjourned.